channel, everybody. I am Babyface P, and on today's episode of fixing gun stuff, we're going to finally be gluing our whited stock. So, last video we did, we whited the stock and got as much oil and junk out of it as we could. Today we're going to glue all of that back together using some Acraglas. So, finally got some of this in from Brownells. I've never used it before. I've used some other ones, but we'll see how this Acraglas turns out. Let me bring you in, show you what we got going on, and move forward. So here's what we got. The stock has been whited, and I've gotten as much oil of it out of it as I can. There's still obviously a little bit left, but I've worked and gotten as much as I can out. So we have a box of Acraglas, and what we're going to end up doing is trying to repair. So we're going to drill out some of these cracks as best we can using this, which I actually had for AK parts. We're going to try using it on this to see if we can get a nice clean line, because the hardest thing with smaller drill bits is getting a good solid line in under the crack. So we're going to use that. We're going to set up the Acraglas, which is, we got the whole kit. It's like the $25 kit. And then we're going to clamp all that up and see if we can get that nice and solid and put back together. We probably at some point will Acraglas the receiver back into the stock just to make sure it stays better, because obviously that's how it cracked before. We also have two small pieces. So these two little pieces here both have to be glued back in. One is the front tang here, and the other one is a little piece. And as we go through, obviously I'll show you. And then the last thing we have to do is we need to Acraglas the extrusion. Fuck, I can't say this word. Damn it. You guys are going to be yelling at me. I think it's execution. Whatever. We're going to have to Acraglas that back into the pump. And then fill in. We'll use a little bit of wood paste or whatever. We'll probably sand off a little bit there. Fill these cracks in on that. Let it all dry and see how it turns out. So let's get some, let's start by drilling. We're not going to mix up the Acraglas because we only have a certain amount of time until it sets up. So we're going to put that aside for now. We're going to work on drilling out our holes, what I want to fill, and we'll see about filling it after that. So let's start there. So we got a hole running through the whole center now. Let me see where I want to get to. Basically the back of the bit. Okay, so we've drilled that out. That looks like good wood coming out of there. Blow this out. You see some epoxy still coming out. The old epoxy. Scrape. Alright, so let's run a hole in through best we can here. See how far we want to go. Yeah. So obviously we don't want to come out the other side of the stock. That's pretty good. The reason I'm using this long bit is I have a lot more flexibility. I don't have to worry about the bottom of the drill getting in the way. So that helped out a lot. Okay. So we got some good holes. What we're going to do, let me grab the clamps that we're going to use. So I went by Harbor Freight and picked up a bunch of random clamps here. Different sizes, different things, dimensions. And all of these are wood clamps. They're not metal. They have the little plastic things that should keep me from hopefully marring this up too bad. I wanted a bunch of different clamps so I could clamp this in a bunch of different ways to try to pull this wood back in. So that's what we're gonna do. And if we dent the wood, I'm not too concerned. We can always, as long as we don't break the grain, we can always steam it back out with an iron. So that's not a big deal. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna mix up a little bit of this Acraglas and start stuffing holes with it until we get it to come out. Let me see how this works. 4 parts resin to 1 part hardener. All right, so 4 parts to 1. So we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of resin to 1, all right, I think it's teaspoons actually, to 1 teaspoon of hardener. It's about 2, a little bit more. That should be enough. Okay, cap that back up. And I'll clean those off later. We'll do a little bit of the hardener, so 1 teaspoon of hardener. Go for that. Mix it up, and we're gonna add a little bit of the brown dye. Make sure it's about 4, a little bit more to get 4 teaspoons total. This should be more than enough glass to do this whole thing. I think I'm mixing quite a bit, so this should be well more than enough for this whole stock. We're gonna mix in a little brown dye. See what this gets us. Put this aside for now, let's mix it up. Oh, that is right off the hop, that's a pretty good color match actually. I could go a little bit darker, maybe add a little black to it. But that's a pretty good match. Let's add a little black just to darken it a little more. Just a tiniest little bit of black. I have a feeling this black will bring it down to what we need almost perfectly. Yeah, so it's a little bit green, but I think it's gonna work perfect. All right, so here we go. We got this, here we go. We got the whole thing glued up. I'm gonna take some screenshots and roll it all in here with all this because it is a total mess and it smells like acetone out here. We also, let me pull this into frame real quick. I also got the, goddamn, I can't say this word, escutcheon, I think that's how it's pronounced, glued into here. It looks really great. And yes, I put release agent on everything, so hopefully none of this glues to the wood. Tomorrow we'll come back, check it, and we got some work ahead of us filing this all in. The next other thing we're gonna have to do is file this flat and glue some, epoxy some pieces to it so we can fit them. But we'll do, I want this to all dry first. So anyways, let's take a break. I'm gonna roll in some, over as I talk, I'm gonna roll in some quick pics and we'll catch you guys in the morning. All right, 24 hours later, and here's what we got. I already took the clamps off. Make sure you guys are focused like that. And this is, man, it's hard as a rock. So I took the clamps off, and you can see I've already started here. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but the acrylic glued everything in perfectly. Seriously, it looks awesome. Let me bring it in closer. Hold on. Put you guys way up in here. There you go. So you can see glue is everywhere. But you know what? It's solid as a rock. It's not flimsy. It doesn't want to give in any direction, and it looks awesome. So, what are we doing next? Before we work on refinishing the stock, our next project is going to be fixing the two cracks that we had at the bottom, the two big, not cracks, the two big chips. So you can see I already started smoothing these out, top and bottom. This one I got really nicely done. And I actually don't know if the piece that I cut is big enough. I'm gonna have to cut another piece, which is fine. So there's that one, and then this one down here, which is also not big enough. I did a terrible job cutting those. I'll cut new ones. So we're gonna go ahead and get two nice pieces of walnut cuts from the big piece that I bought. Gonna glue them on and leave them set for another 24 hours. And then we'll come back, rough all of this in, final finish it down to the correct spec, cut any of this that we need to cut out from the inside here. We're gonna need to re-drill our hole, get it fit to the gun, wherever the stock, or wherever the thing is, it's around here somewhere. We'll get it fit to the actual gun itself. Then we will take it all the way, sand it, and start working up a finish on it. And then we'll call it done. So let me get two more pieces of walnut cut that'll actually fit here and look good, because those I cut too small. And let's get started on gluing these on. All right, so next up, we are going to take, let me put this cover back in. I know, I need some soft jaws at some point. I'll work on that. Excuse me. We're gonna take and clamp our stock back in. And I started on this already. I'm sure you guys can see this nice flat section here. I took a large rasp and I started filing this in. I got it to where we are here. There's a little bit of a corner here that I'm not really happy with. So what I'm going to try to do is file in a little bit more, get this flattened out. You want a nice flat surface so you can hear the wood too. So you're trying to get rid of, I'm almost, yeah, see I got that little bit, let me see here. So this is gonna get glued on just like that. And you can see I have quite a bit extra, which is fine, not a big deal. I want as much extra as I need so I can work on filling any of the small gaps. And this little rounded edge doesn't look like it's gonna cause too much trouble. I'm gonna get a little bit more off. You can see here where we're actually getting into where that stock repair did, where the glue got all the way down into that repair, which is awesome. Little bit more, little bit more. All right, we got that pretty much flattened out. Take a little bit off the top here because I filed it in a little wrong. We'll sand, all this will get sanded out and evened up. So no biggie there. There we go. So we're going to do is we're going to mix up a little bit more Acraglas, and we're going to glue this. Remember, try to get the wood grain. You want the wood grain going in the same direction. So that's this way. The wood grain's going back and forth like this, as it is with this. So we're going to glue it on just like that. And no side is any better than the other. So we'll probably end up just making up some epoxy and gluing this on. And then I'm going to attach it, have it held there for 24 hours until the epoxy dries, and then we're going to take a big rasp and shape it back in. There's going to be a lot of excess. I realize I have some really big chunks of wood, so there will be excess, but not a big deal. I'd rather have more than not enough to work with. So let me mix up some Acraglas and get moving on that. And we're back. And now it's time to start roughing this in. It's gonna take a while. So get ready for some fun. All right, change of plans. I'm gonna try cutting it first. This thing's getting a little dull, but we're gonna cut across, see if we can take down most of it without having to, woo, sawdust, without having to go and file all of it in. So I wanna rough this in. Now we'll take the rasp and file it in. Oops, sorry guys. Now we'll take the rasp, file it in, and then move to hand files once we get close enough. And we're moving on to sandpaper. I got a good bit of it taken down. Let me see. Hey guys, you can see this one here. And let me bring it up to you. Hold on, bring it into focus. So I got a good bit of it taken down, but we're gonna wrap some sandpaper around a file, or a block maybe, and continue on it, see what we can do. All right. Oh man, all right, here's what we got with this side. Yeah, that other side is the rough one. Look at that. Make sure you guys are in focus. So check that out. We got it pretty well lined up. Let me bring it into this one. The only thing is I went a little heavy on the inside here, and I took this whole like flat, our whole raised area out, that there. Oh well, we're gonna Acraglas this receiver back in anyways, but there's that part done. That took about 2 hours of good, steady filing, so I didn't break anything. But, so we're done. Now we gotta move to this side. Oh, so we're moving on to sandpaper. I got this thing. Oh, let me move the light so you guys can see. I got this thing mostly shaped in using the using the whatever the fuck that thing's called. So what I'm doing, and this is what I did on the other side, is wrapping some 120 grit sandpaper around a file and going to town. We are going to match this in, file this down till it matches in with the original wood, and then work on shaping it, getting the lines correct like we did on the other. And this is going to take about an hour. If I'm lucky, it'll take an hour. It probably will be longer than that. But and then we also, I have it overhanging in here quite a bit. So we're going to have to shape this edge down too. So get ready for a music break because this is going to be real slow and painful. Oh Lord, this took forever, but we got the stock there. That's pretty good. It may need a little more shaping down the side. There's that. Put it down here so you can actually see. And I accidentally took the chip out, which is over here. I'm gonna have to glue that back in now because I wasn't being careful. So I'll glue that back in. This side looks great. The last thing that I need to do, which I've been working on a little bit for testing, is I need to fit the, I need to obviously fit it back in. You can see it's a little tight right in here, so we're going to do a little bit of file work to get this fitted comfortably so it's not stretching. And I'll show you guys when we're done. And here's what we got to show off. Look at that. New wood piece on top. New piece on bottom. And we've removed a lot of glass from there, and I did a little bit of tearing up on it, but we'll make it right. So there's that. You see it looks good there. I've removed a lot of the glass that was filling in here. So let me move you guys real quick. Hold. And I'm gonna leave you with this for this video, because I think the last thing I want to do before we actually refinish this is I think I want to Acraglas this whole stock. This whole receiver into the stock, because honestly that's probably what killed it last time. Is it was, it's pretty loosey-goosey in here. So, but as you can see, that receiver fits nice and snug, very, very snug. And we got the hole correct for the screw, which tightens down nicely if I'm not doing it backwards. Don't worry, I'm gonna redo the screws. But there we go. So that's it for this one. This was a hell of a challenge. This has been going on like 3 or 4 days behind the scenes. You guys haven't seen much of that. You just get to see the fun stuff. So what we're gonna do, I'm going to roll this video up and call it done. And next thing I'm gonna work on is I'm gonna Acraglas this whole receiver in so it doesn't move. So it's just pillar bedded in there. But that will be the next video. So stay tuned, that's coming up next. Once that's done, we will refinish the stock. Once the stocks are finished and the stock and the pump are done, we're gonna redo the wood. Then we're gonna take it out and go shoot it. So this has been a hell of a lot of fun. So stay with me. I'm gonna get this Acraglased in next. That'll be rolling in the next video. So like, share, subscribe. If you guys are into this kind of weird, crazy at-home gunsmithing, let me know. Check me out on my Facebook page. You can go to babyfacepete.com, and that'll redirect you straight to the Facebook page. You can also catch me on Instagram. I've been posting a lot of pictures on this project as we're working on it. So you'll see more stuff there on my Instagram. Everything's in the description below. So just go on down, hit the description button, and you'll see all my social media links. All right, that's it for tonight. Get ready for the next one.